I'm Schrum. I grew up in Catawba County, and I'm from here. And I grew up in a family that was a good family, but wasn't necessarily Christ followers. And when I was young, I was around 6 or 7 or so, and I went to church. I remember the only thing I remember from that Sunday service was hearing a song called "Shout to the Lord." And I just remember being overwhelmed by, I didn't know what it was at the time, but it was the Spirit. And I was just blown away, and I just felt tears come to my eyes, and I just couldn't explain it. But from that moment on, I knew Jesus was God. I knew church was about Jesus, and I knew the Spirit was there that Sunday, and it overwhelmed me. And I believed from that day forward. But coming up through school and even up through high school, I was always considered to be a good guy. Not the best, but I was never considered a bad person. I mean, I never even went to the office for anything. But it wasn't until after high school I really became a follower. About September of 2007, I was in church one Sunday, and I just decided I was at a crossroads between whether I was going to live for Jesus or whether I was going to go down the road of singleness, of having a good time, and just living for myself. And I knew better. That was the whole thing, and I always knew I knew better. But that day I knew I was making a decision. I made a decision to give it up and live for Jesus and just lay everything aside and walk into the unknown, really. I had no idea what was coming. I really didn't know anything about being part of church activities outside of Sunday morning, and never really spent any time with anyone besides Josh Kappas, and that was just when he would come to my house every now and then. And it was just a whole lot of sacrifice from that moment on, and growing, and God hearing my heart and hearing my surrender, and taking me from that point, and not really requiring me to do much but surrender. That's all he required me to do, and that's what the gospel means to me. Just giving it all up. It's not about your works, it's not about your effort, but it's about surrender and letting Jesus take you from where you've been to where he needs you to be in this world for his will.
What would you say that God's done in your life? I mean, what have been the blessings that have come as a result of being a Christian?
Well, the biggest thing by a long shot is my wife. Me and Emily got married November of 2011, which is about 5 months ago now, 6 months. And that's been the biggest blessing of my life. We met and married in 7 months, so it went really quick. Both of us were single for 4 to 5 years. I was single for 4 years after I was saved, basically, and she was single for 5. I had gone through I guess really just giving into the world a little bit, even as a Christian, just because I got so lonely. I give up all of my friends, and I settled for some somewhat relationships with girls who weren't followers, with and that I knew God didn't want that for me, so those ended really quick before they became any kind of relationship. And Emily kind of went through the same thing for 5 years, and it was almost like a physical pain being single and wanting someone to love and wanting them to love me. It was something that I always desired so much, and it turned out Emily had the same story, and we met each other and fell in love right away at the exact right time. And God keeps his promises even through those 4 years of loneliness, 4 years of a burning desire for something something you want so bad. But a lot of times God is just telling us to wait and be patient. Don't settle, because He has what you really need. He has the biggest blessing. He can do it a lot better than we can do it. And He showed me that through my marriage.